'cause this is the place to be.
Anyways, it's a nice Mandy shirt you have there.
Thank you. I designed it myself, actually.
Yeah.
Where did you purchase that shirt?
Oh, the Gore Club. Oh, look at you guys. Oh, the Gore Club fucking clothing store.
That really wasn't a plug for your for
It's,
your merch.
I've never been a fan of this kind of the style of.
Feels breathable.
But the thing is, the print on it will never fade. Like it doesn't crack or anything. Because I think you've got one like this, don't you?
No, I got the other one. That's
I've got the Gore Club one.
Yeah, like this in this style.
Yeah.
The all over print.
The print will never crack. It's almost too good of a deal, right?
Yeah.
I was walking around St. Matthews yesterday in like a very quaint St. Matthews neighborhood wearing a Gore Club shirt. And this old man stopped me to ask why I was wearing a Halloween shirt.
Oh
I
man.
was like, it's a monster from a movie. It was just like the Tarman shirt.
Oh, was it? Okay, yeah. I didn't know if it was like the Mr. Barlow. A lot of people don't.
You look like a respectable young lady. Why are you wearing that trash?
You do look like you should be at a bake sale. I'm just saying. Bake sale, Katie.
Now I'm wearing my burlesque shirt today.
Okay, well, welcome to the Gore Club Podcast, everybody. I'm Steve Vessell.
Deathmetal Dave.
I mean,
And then tonight, I think we're going to talk about our first movie that we ever watched, and then the newest one we've watched. If you've watched anything horror-related, Dave.
yeah.
Some people just like to watch trashy action movies on their only days off.
I've been watching baking shows.
I do that. If I'm home on a Saturday and not doing anything, I watch 3 movies. I watch one good movie to start out with.
You have a structure. This is
I do have a
hilarious.
structure of how I do it. I watch one good movie, like something that's like Oscar worthy. I watch a horror movie on my second one, and then I end the night with a shitty action movie, like a Van Damme or something.
I thought you were going to go like something really dark. So it's like, like Oppenheimer, Commando, and Gummo or something like that.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, I could do that. I've done that before too, probably something like that. But yeah, that's my structure, because usually by like the third one, I've already had a few beers, and it's already getting late.
It's noon.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to say that.
and I want to watch something stupid.
No, I understand. Sometimes you're worried about those ghoulies and how they're ever going to pay off their college debt.
God damn. We've got to do a whole episode on ghoulies because we talk about that. And we were joking about we always name drop Body Double. It's like, we're going to have to do an episode on Brian De Palma.
True, man. I love Body Double.
I know. We said it last episode. All right. Well, who wants to go off on this, man? Who wants to start off? Who wants to just go off on us?
Their first movie, their first horror
What is
film.
the, okay, here's the thing.
film.
Also, let's think about this. Like, what made this your first horror film? Like, why?
Trauma.
I was going to say, like, you couldn't go to the drive-in. I couldn't go to the movie theaters with my family. I wasn't old enough. Like,
Well, I'll go first if you would like. And I've talked about this movie
I don't care who
before.
goes first.
The movie Troll, the
Are you
1986
serious?
classic.
Not even Troll 2. the
No,
original
I
Troll.
rented.
saw that in the
rented-
theater.
So you got John Karl Buechler, the director, special effects, makeup
Master.
wizard.
Yeah.
He made the Troll too.
Yeah, he did.
He was all over it, and
He made the troll also.
yes. He didn't make Troll 2. He tried to make a sequel to this,
Oh,
but
God.
it failed.
If he had made Troll 2, I would love that movie.
It would be so much better if they would have facial expression. But this movie, like, it traumatized me for specific reasons. One, I think I saw it. So it came out in 86, and there was like, it was like an ABC movie or something like that. They played it on TV. I remember it was on.
Oh, no. It was a movie. It came out to the theaters. I saw it in the
No.
theater
It came out in the theater, but I'm saying they showed it on ABC or NBC or one of those channels or TNT. I don't know, but I was like 8 or something. It was like 88 or 89 when I saw it.
God damn it. I'm the oldest person in this whole fucking neighborhood.
And so if you don't know, this movie is about Harry Potter. Not that Harry Potter, which they should have sued the fuck out of her. You got trolls, magical people, little people. She had everything.
You mean dwarves?
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh, Julia Louis-Dreyfus and her one of her first movies.
Yeah.
She was not happy about this movie. There was is when I was doing a little bit of research, because it's been a while since I've seen it. There was a clip where she was on Jay Leno talking, and like he's like, "Oh, well, you were in this movie," and he shows a clip, and she just looks livid. She's like, "Why the fuck would you?" It's the weirdest episode of Seinfeld you'll see, right? So you got a troll in an apartment building that goes around and stabs people with his little ring, which, by the way, my mother had the same looking emerald ring. So 8-year-old brain is like, oh my God, my mother's possessed by a troll. There's a basement. We've got a basement. We've got a little ball. It can roll down the steps. I'm not going down there. I might get eaten by a troll. But he doesn't eat people. He stabs them and they turn into pod people. He kills Sonny Bono and he kills everybody. It's got
Carlo.
Phil Fonacardo. Phil Fonacardo's in it. He is actually.
Why are you gonna call him Carlo? I don't know. Carry on.
He's in the suit. And he's a double role. So if you notice, they're not in the same scene because they didn't figure out the whole way to shoot that. I guess I don't know.
It was a low budget movie,
but it was a low budget movie.
Was this an Empire movie? I think it was.
Yeah, it was an Empire Pictures because you could see, which sort of another one of their films. I mean, you got one of the Ghoulies that's in there, just in the background. You've got from Dungeon Master, like the Rat King guy.
See, because John Carl Buechler did all the special effects for Dungeon Master.
Yeah, so he reused some puppets. But the one thing that I thought was the coolest, other than being scared this movie scaring the shit out of me, was somewhere out there was an original treatment and script where it was supposed to be a slasher movie, where the troll was going to just go around murdering people, and they since Charles Band wanted to make it PG-13, they added all the mythical elements in it and like all the fairies and stuff like that.
Oh,
could you imagine if the movie was like made like that, like a Giallo, except it's a troll?
I don't think we would have got Troll 2 if they had done that.
Well, Troll 2 wasn't even connected to this. They said
maybe we would have. I don't know.
Well, he tried to make another one, and it was back and forth. He had people signed on. They were going to do it, and it didn't work out. Then they were going to make an animated troll movie.
What?
Yeah,
you barely have the money to make this movie, and you're going to fund an animated feature.
This is like 20. This is like 2012.
Oh, okay.
2016. Because I thought that they really missed the boat because Harry Potter was all the craze, man. And
I cannot believe you didn't cash in on that.
Well,
it's fucking Charles Band, for Christ's sake.
There was talks of a lawsuit, but I mean, going after like the Harry Potter money is not gonna really help you. But the father's name Harry Potter, the mother's name, the kid's name Harry Potter. The resemblances are there. They should have just said fuck it, made another movie, and say Harry Potter versus the troll.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the same guy who made like in 2020 was like, let's get a bunch of clips together, make this Tiger King versus coronavirus movie or whatever the hell he did.
He got so much hate for the coronavirus movie.
He just took clips from an old movie that was already in the public domain and had girls sit on a couch and be like, Tiger King or something. It was absolute trash.
It is, and this is the guy that we have talked many times about. And as much as we love his movies, like this is the guy that tried to rip off all of his fans with those fake VHS boxes.
Yes. That he
and if you don't know what we're talking about, Dave, can you educate?
Oh,
if you will.
he found a bunch of old quote original VHS, the big clamshell boxes. There's just fucking crates of them in a warehouse.
Who knew?
I guess he stored them in his castle in Italy.
This is a true story. Okay, go ahead.
But yeah, you could buy those, and
he sold so many of those, and then people got them. They're like, this was just produced. This is not
it looks new.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. But, overall, I going back and watching it, I realized how much of a bitch I was when I was a child. And I shouldn't have been scared of that movie because it's not scary at all. I mean,
there's some moments. I'm sorry, Dave.
He stabs Sonny Bono and he turns into a giant green pod and then goes...
He creates that when they get stabbed, they turn their entire apartment because they're in an apartment complex.
They're terraforming.
So yeah, they're terraforming their entire friggin' apartment complex into this very weird world.
So is this like gentrification? Is there a deeper meaning?
If you think about it, it's going back to nature.
It is. It's reverse gentrification.
Is this elevated horror?
Oh no, we're gonna do another episode.
I'm so mad that I wasn't here for that just to play both sides.
Oh, trust me, you are actually in the episode. You'll see.
Oh, good. Good. But that was my movie. Like, it was deeply traumatizing until I watched it when I was older. And I remember, because when Troll 2 came out, what is it, 94 or something like that?
Sounds good.
Yeah. I remember renting it on VHS and I got nervous. I was like, I don't know why.
Trauma from Sonny Bono.
Well, yeah, I had seen so many more fucked up, scary things by then.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, this one's going to be weird. And I watched it and I'm like, I got to go back and watch this original one.
I could not finish Troll 2 when I first tried to watch it. And then it wasn't until like, I guess the documentary came out about it, the worst movie ever made. And then I was like, well, I'll give this piece. At least now they acknowledge this is piece. It's like watching The Room again. It's like, oh God.
Yeah.
When you go in with different eyes, you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to have like 5 shots and then enjoy this movie and have a good time.
And one fun story that I did read about this movie. So to drum up business, Charles Band was going to send somebody to Cannes, and he wanted Phil Fonicardo to go hand out flyers in the troll suit. And he said absolutely not. It's too hot. I won't do it. So he hired this
You're in Cannes. It's fucking boiling. Yeah.
He hired this little French performer lady, and she was in the middle of handing out flyers and just passed out.
Yeah, see, he knew.
And he's like, see, I told you.
Yeah, he's a suit actor. He's been in many movies. Like by that time, even he's like, I'm not doing that.
No.
Yeah.
George Lucas would never do this to me.
Yeah, no. I love Willow. Fuck it, man. I love Willow.
I mean, I hope you guys are just as traumatized by your first movies.
I am. I'll go next. I think a lot of people who follow the podcast know it's Terror Train. It's gorgeous. Original movie poster behind your back. Terror Train, directed by Roger Spottiswoode. So I never really looked up what else he had done. Nothing else horror.
Nothing
Turner and Hooch, stuff like that. Yeah. Stop on My Mom Will Shoot. With Sylvester Stallone and Estelle Getty from The Golden Girls.
Estelle Getty was pretty vicious in that movie.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I saw that movie in the drive-in.
Wow. They had that movie at the drive-in next to like Color Me Blood Red.
Probably.
The poster for that movie is amazing, and I see it every time I go to Gore Club, which is in one of the bathrooms, but it's like Arnold's
it is framed in the bathroom, sir.
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone has that tiny little pistol, and Estelle Getty's like huge fucking gun, just like holding it up like Rambo style.
Yeah, which is perfect.
Amazing.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, I love that fucking movie. So yeah, I going back and doing little notes for this, I was just like, wow, we had just talked about this on the Elevated Horror. Like people were kind of shitting on certain people. I think it was Jordan Peele. It was like, oh, this guy, what's he done? And like this guy, people love this movie or they don't. It doesn't matter. But like people like me, I don't think about him like, I hope he's a good horror director. He did nothing else when it came to the horror genre. Maybe a couple of thrillers that I didn't really care about, but come on, Turner and Hooch. Good stuff.
Speaking of first thing, that was the actual first movie I ever saw in a movie theater was Turner and Hooch.
Tom Hanks and what kind of dog is that, Katie?
It's a Mastiff.
Oh, of course.
And I remember.
Wait, no, it's a Dogue de Bordeaux. I'm sorry.
Oh wow.
Oh, you're going to get points off for that with somebody in the comment section.
But yeah, that was one my mom dragged me to. It was either that or Ernest Goes to Jail is one of those two, or the first movie I ever saw in a theater.
I remember seeing Pinocchio and being scared shitless of that giant whale. But I was really young on that one too. Yeah, I wasn't scared of Free Willy. It was the whale. He ate Pinocchio, Steve.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
You weren't afraid of the kid turning into a donkey in the most terrifying way possible?
No, fuck that kid.
But the whale.
That whole movie is a nightmare, dude. They get over to that land, they're all donkeys, and the kid's like smoking cigars and like hanging out. Like I remember that would come on, and my sister watched it, and then she started crying whenever he got swallowed by the whale. My mom was like, "Never again. We're never watching this again."
See, my mom was like, "Oh, it's biblical." I'm like, "Okay, Mom,
don't go to the ocean. You'll get eaten by a whale or turned into a donkey."
But anyways, back to this fucking movie, guys. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you have a good pick. You've got an actual good movie that people are like, Terror Train. I regard that as a great horror film, and I'm like, Troll, and they're like, you're trash.
No, I love Troll, man. Like I said, I got to see that in the theater, but I love that movie. It freaked me out. But back to goddamn Terror Train, Steve. Okay.
How old were you?
I don't remember. I got to see Beetlejuice in the theater. I got to see, and that's towards the end of the late 80s. I got to see
I'm talking
Space Hunter across. I'm trying to think about how old I was. Like I got to see Space Hunter in 3D in the theater. I could walk in there with dum-dums in both hands and they'd be like, well, there you go. Tear your ticket. Go ahead. Have a good time. And it could be like Dressed to Kill. It was great. And I could walk to the movie theater. It was so cool.
Giant lollipop just like, I'm here to the movie.
I'm here to see Halloween 4. Oh, shit. Which I did see in the theater, in that movie theater. But I don't remember how old I was. Jeez, man. Also, it was also one of those movie theaters that would re-show movies. Kind of like we have another movie. It's gone also called the Vogue Theater that would show old movies like, He Fell from Earth or He Fell to Earth, with David Bowie and Rocky Horror Picture Show every weekend. So you could have been on one of those things.
Terror Train.
It was just one of those movies where it was one of those theaters that you went to every week and didn't matter because they were going to show something you liked. And what else am I going to do in this podunk town? Sorry, Louisville.
This was the 1960s, so you got to cut us some slack.
So I need to introduce Randy because Randy's going to kill Dave. Hi. I'm your fucking killer.
Give me the power.
I beg of you. If you can't see, if you're just listening to us, it's one of those new plush Chucky dolls. Which, by the way, this is rad as fuck. I'm going to do a quick plug for these. I think this is better than the Ultimate. They actually let you cut your own hair.
Oh, nice.
I should have done a whole unboxing on this guy. We call him Randy because he should have his own name, right, Randy?
Randy.
It terrifies Katie, and she got it for me for Christmas.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
Goddamn Terror Train. I don't know. It's one of those movies. The only reason I got to see this movie is because I was hiding under the sofa. Because we had a sofa that I was small enough to hide under, like not behind, under, and watched it with my family. And then if I remember correctly, they found me and they were like, "All right, well, you're already halfway through boobs and murder. Have a seat."
I guess you got to finish it.
Right. God, I wish my sister was here. She'd be like, "Oh yeah." And then that night, my parents decided to put on a Halloween mask and chase me around the house. Good parenting 101.
I love Terror Train.
I fucking
And
love it.
I've seen some people recently. I think a lot of people. New Year's wasn't, but like, about a month and a half ago. But like, I saw some people post reviews of it on Letterboxd or something that I follow, and they were kind of like, "Oh, this is just okay, I guess." Or some people were just kind of saying how they was like so or whatever. I'm like, I don't know. Like every year, I want to watch it on New Year's. It's just like everything about the movie is cold as shit in the movie. Like, I want to go to a New Year's party on a train, and it looks awesome.
It's a fantasy world. You have a slasher movie. I love the elements. I love like when it's raining or snowing or like storm outside. So they're trapped on they're trapped on a train. It's a costume party. It's a New Year's Eve slasher movie. So, and at the time I didn't even think of that. I thought it was like a Halloween movie when I was a kid because everyone's wearing costumes. And it's a slasher movie. And it's actually one of the first, if you want to think about it, trans kind of like slashers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's got a twist.
It does have a twist. God damn it.
It's got everything.
Don't give away the twist, just in case somebody's ever seen it.
It's got magic. David Copperfield's
David
in it.
Copperfield's on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
red herrings.
Yeah. That just made me think of a pup named Scooby-Doo. Red herring.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is one of those movies. It's a comfort film too, and I love screening it every New Year's Eve here.
Oh, yeah.
So.
That's definitely in every New Year's for me. I love that movie. Yeah. And the old train conductor, he's an old classic.
Ben Johnson.
Yeah, Ben Johnson.
From the Wild Bunch, man.
Yeah.
He's done so many Westerns. And
he's great.
It was one of those things like, especially, they've done it since, but in the 70s and 80s when a horror director was like, well, we got to have at least one somebody we're going to pay to be here.
Yeah.
Peter Cushing or Donald Pleasance.
You got to have somebody to pull this train.
Right. And we just seen Ben Johnson basically decimated an entire town in the Wild Bunch with a machine gun. So let's put him as the nice guy as a train conductor.
Yeah. He's got range, Steve.
Yeah. He's in Red Dawn.
Yeah, he could be the murderous guy or just the good old train conductor.
And that was another thing, and I didn't think about at the time, is that I've grown to love, is it's a whodunit as well. So it's all these little things about when it comes to a slasher movie that I really like. Besides just being a reoccurring slasher coming back, you know who it is. He's killing everybody. I love ones where you just don't know who it is. Like like the first Friday the 13th. But Terror Train was the first movie that I was exposed to that ruined my life. Thank you, Roger Spottiswood. Terror Train.
Well, my first one was one that I watched on so I probably mentioned this before. Like I grew up, we only had like the five channels when I grew up growing up. We didn't have cable at all.
You didn't have UHF? What the hell?
Didn't even have that. We had ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and PBS.
Well, at least you had PBS.
Yeah. So usually on Sundays when there wasn't football or anything going on during the day, they would have like in the Lexington area, we had Fox 56. They would have like the Sunday matinee and they'd show like movies till about 8 o'clock. Well, one of those days, I was about in the third grade. They showed Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. And I was like, what? Because if there was a kid that I went to school with whose parent, he had those kind of parents who just let him watch whatever they wanted to. So he was like, we were like, third grade, however old you are then, 10, something like that. And he's like, I've seen all the Freddy movies. I've seen Nightmare on Elm Street, blah, blah, blah. And he would always tell me about them all the time. Well, then I finally got to see one on TV because back then, even just picking up the box and looking at Freddy on a VHS box scared the shit out of me. When I was like kindergarten, first grade, I couldn't even look at Freddy's face. Like it just scared me to death, give me nightmares. And then I finally watched it on like regular cable TV and I was like, oh, this is kind of goofy. Like it's not like a total nightmare. I actually like watching this movie. So even if I did have to watch the the TV edit.
Yeah, but you don't even know it. You don't know the difference.
Yeah, and I didn't know the difference then. So, but yeah, that was a huge, like, pivotal turning point in my life was that. And then the next day I went back to school and, like, told everyone, I was like, oh my God, I watched Freddy Krueger movie last night because I didn't even know which one it was because I missed, like, the opening credits or whatever. So I just knew which it was. It went until, like, years later I actually rented it and I was like, this is the one I saw on TV.
And did you question the kid that said he saw all of them and he didn't have any answers, did he? Because he was full of shit.
Yeah, he was probably just lying to me because he would always be like, and then like Freddy and like tell me all these things about every movie and like
that didn't happen.
Probably never happened.
Freddy had a bazooka.
Yeah. Then he would tell me how great the Nintendo game was, and I was like, what? And then I actually played it years later, and I was like, this is fucking terrible.
But at that time, you're pulling at straws, and you'll take that Jason going. God, what a great movie, though. I mean, like, holy shit! But that time, they're just throwing money at that franchise.
Oh yeah, and like, there's something super nostalgic about like just watching it on TV back in the day. Because you kind of get those bumpers like in between commercials where it'd be like up next on the Sunday movie Freddy Krueger, and then it'd be like in between it'd be like it's like after these messages, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 returns or whatever.
I love it,
and it would have all those kind of little things in there, which I kind of miss about watching movies on TV. I definitely don't miss the commercials unless they're old commercials.
You better get used to it, buddy.
Yeah, they're coming back. My fucking stupid Prime. I gotta watch commercials now. But yeah, still to this day when we rank these, I put this one fairly high on my list because, like, it's the what they call as the MTV Nightmare on Elm Street with all the quick editing and like Rennie Harlan did it, he did Cliffhanger and like stuff like that.
Fat Boys doing a music video.
Fat Boys music video.
Did a music video.
Vinnie Vincent.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
that's right. This movie had 3 music videos made with the set.
Yeah.
That like they filmed it in, and I love that stuff. I miss that. For
They
those that don't
figured it
know
out.
it. Yeah, for those that don't know, in Louisville, we every weekend we screen movies on the big screen for people, and I try to include so many like bumpers and music videos made for movies and stuff. And I forgot about the Vinnie Vincent one.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, that song is awful though.
Oh yeah, it's not that great, but
They typically were.
But yeah, this is still like I still watch it. I guess I just have like a lot of nostalgia for this one. People might not like this one as much as I do, but I think I ranked this one above Part 3 when we did our rankings on these.
Yeah, go back and watch our Nightmare on Elm Street ranking video. It caused a lot of people to be angry, or some people be like, "Hey, yeah, I agree with that guy."
Yeah.
But I mean, this one did pretty good at the theater.
Yeah,
And then this is where I said this is where Freddy peaked, and then after this, it just like sharp decline for me.
but see, there's people who grew up on Part 5.
Yeah.
I grew up on Friday the 13th Part 3. That was the first one I got to see.
Yeah,
And it's still to this day probably my favorite one.
there's still elements of 5 that I like. And then Freddy's Dead is just a goddamn dumpster fire. I hate that movie.
But it's in 3D.
It's so bad.
Yeah, that's the one that has like the video game part and like, right?
Yeah.
Man, I love Part 7. I think what he was trying to do, I think it's overlit if I'm going to be critiquing the shit out of Part 7, but there's so many great things in that.
We're not going down that. They can watch the other
Watch the episode.
Watch the other one.
But yeah, that was my first one. And also, I had the movie brought up here, but that movie poster for that's amazing too. With him like in the dumps, he's like in the old car graveyard out there, and like he's got the claw ripping his face off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I love
artist.
that.
I think that was maybe the second. No, he did the Part 5, the same artist, because we had Nathan Thomas Milner in the studio. We were talking about a horror movie. Comic art and poster art, and man, that guy, the guy who did all those original movie posters, are just fucking amazing.
Every Nightmare on Elm Street movie poster's a 10.
Yeah,
Love
so
it.
good.
But, it sort of brings you back to thinking, I remember when I was in elementary school, it was like 5th grade or something like that. Somebody put a Child's Play 2 sticker on the back door, and it was the, yes, just like little Randy. And
it was
sorry, Jack Chucky's
sorry,
back.
Jack Chucky's back.
It's the one where he's standing in front of the shears. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I just thought it was we had to walk past it every day. We had to walk past it every day, and it was always intriguing to me too, because I'm like, who put this sticker here? Like somebody Somebody got, you know how hard it was probably to get a Child's Play 2 sticker in what was that, the late 80s, early 90s?
Yeah, and just waste it like
and
that.
just waste it by putting it on a school door window.
I think it's fantastic marketing, Dave.
Some of the things I've thought about the most back in the day were what am I going to do with this sticker? Where am I going to put it? I don't want to put it on something and then I end up not having it anymore or something.
Right. You just have to end up taking your door off the hinges and keep taking it to your next house.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Like my sister did that. She put all kinds of like heavy metal, like not King Diamond, didn't have a King Diamond sticker, but like Iron Maiden stickers and stuff like that all over her closet door.
Yeah.
And then we moved so much because my parents were divorced and our life was awesome. So she lost that.
Yeah. Lost all those cool stickers.
Maybe. So,
Katie, did you want to jump in here?
yeah, what was your first horror film?
It's funny that you have Randy here.
Hi.
Because my first horror film, again, kind of like Ace, I was in 3rd grade. I was like 9. No, it was Child's Play 3.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it was on USA. And I had been begging my mother to let me watch just any horror film, but especially a Chucky movie. Because I used to go to like Red Giraffe, the blockbuster of the early 90s, and I would like obsessively study all of the VHS, like the covers of VHS horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
And I would go to school and I would, like preschool, I'm like 2 and 3, talking, like I made up scenes from horror movies and told my teachers, told the other kids that I had watched these movies. And my teacher, shout out Miss Sandy, who I'm still friends with to this day. She actually listens to the podcast.
Oh, hey, Miss Sandy.
She went to my mom and was like, why are you letting Katie watch these horror movies? Like, she's 3, 4 years old. Like, this isn't okay. And Mom's like, I swear to God, she's not watching them. She's just making them up. And then to further the Chucky lore in my life, my brother, when I was 4 years old, locked me in our basement in the dark, and all the light switches are on the ceiling for some reason in my parents' basement. So I couldn't reach. I still can't to this day reach. We had to keep a pool cue.
It's pretty funny.
It's ridiculous. So he locked me down there, told me Chucky was in there. So of course it's pitch black. I'm losing my fucking shit. Just screaming, like knocking stuff over, trying to get away. My mom is on the other side of the door laughing her ass off, laughing so hard she can't unlock the door. And then Michael is just very proud of himself. So, all this to say, I had been waiting years to watch a Child's Play film, and I was terrified of Chucky.
She still is.
Yeah, now that Randy's in the house, it's a little under. I keep an eye on him. But my mom finally saw that Child's Play 3 was on like USA or some channel, and was like, you know what? We're going to sit down. We're going to watch this film so you can see what absolute bullshit this movie is. Because he's like 2 feet tall. You could just kick him. And so she was trying to like desensitize me, but it did not work.
Yeah,
I was just like,
he went to the military school in that one, right?
yes.
He had guns and grenades.
He had
He replaced
weapons
the
of
bullets.
war. He did. He replaced the paint bullets with real bullets.
Yeah.
Which how his little fingers did that, I don't know. Must have taken him all day.
It's a movie.
That's the first time I ever saw that movie too. Was like at my grandparents' house on USA or something, like
Yes.
in the middle of the day.
So it holds a very special place in my heart, as does Chucky.
Is that the one at the end where he gets melted onto the little thing in the factory?
That's
No,
part
that's
2.
two.
Oh,
Yeah, that's part 2.
Yeah, he comes out all melty. He goes through somehow it's like the factory is like it's like a factory that would never exist ever.
Because it's all like brightly
wasn't-
colored.
Yeah,
Yeah.
OSHA wasn't that strict.
Brightly
back
colored. There's just like a part where there's
There's
just
a
a lot
million
of heat.
conveyor belts. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Just a lot of heat in one part of it for some reason. Like we have to they're going to paint him and it has to dry within 3 seconds. Like, it's like the hottest heat you've ever experienced.
That's hilarious.
No, in part 3, they end up at an amusement park, and
Oh,
he's
that's
dropped
right.
into a fan.
I love
Yes.
part 3 because it's so off the
Doesn't have a
chain.
million
It's so
pieces.
fucking, yeah, it's so crazy. And it's like so elaborate. Like they built this huge set at the end. And plus, like I said, I love the elements. So like when they're in the army, they're outside doing all these practices and stuff. It's like they're in the snow. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. Snowballs. And nope. Real bullets.
It's a great movie.
And these are kids like doing like, what's it, like almost like a, what do you call it, ROTC? What the hell is
It
that?
was a
Like-
military school.
That's
Like
right,
Andy
that's
got
right.
sent to military school because he
Yeah.
was fucking crazy.
No, because he
going
kept
after
murdering people. That's why.
Still going after Andy.
Yeah.
Andy.
Andy.
Child's Play 3.
Well, that was a good one. That was a good first one, I think. Now let's talk about some of our more recent ones.
Yeah, we will. But I want to make a comment. We've had a couple of people comment about Katie not having a camera. She doesn't want one.
No, thank you.
Because, when we're cutting around and that's, of course, it makes sense. Like, oh, well, how come the woman's on the camera? It's like, trust me, I've talked to her about it and it ain't happening. She can just wear a bathrobe over there and she's happy.
Yep. I'm in my sweatpants, I'm a sweatshirt, and I am fine with it.
Yeah, she's pushing the buttons. Okay, Dave, what's the last movie that you watched?
All right, so this is going to be sort of embarrassing because
Doubt it.
Well, no, I mean I watch a lot of random movies, but my biggest thing recently has been going through my catalog. So I watched Arena.
Arena.
So again, Empire Films. It was in that big Empire
The box set.
Yeah, Empire Video box set, which would probably be more fun if I was like, oh, I watched Cellar Dweller last, but no, we're going exactly in the order that I watched them in. Arena, the fighting aliens guy.
If Mortal Kombat was a science fiction game, this would be it. This movie is awesome.
And it's well thought out, too,
awesome.
because they come up with a plan to where you can fight a giant slug because you've got lights on you. And
yeah.
They have
remember that part.
They have the lights, the handicap lights.
Yeah, so it brings them down to each other's, like, so one person's not stronger than the other one.
Okay, yeah.
It's all about skill and combat.
No one would ever cheat that. Especially Quark from Star DS9. He's in that.
Yeah, so that was a fun morning movie for me to watch.
That's a very memorable VHS box too, because it has like almost like the boxing
the face-off
photo, and it's like tonight on blah blah blah. It's like Horn versus
Horn versus the human.
Whoever the human.
I can't even remember the human's name. All I just remember is Horn.
Yeah, I just remember Horn.
See, I love that movie because, like I said, it has Quark from DS9. It has the main head Cardassian.
Robert Kardashian.
Yeah, it's got, oh, God, damn. Yeah, he's hiding the fucking evidence in the briefcase for the OJ trial. And then it's got, I cannot remember anybody's names because you just caught me off guard with this movie, but she's in Babylon 5. Like, it's a sci-fi cast.
I can't remember her name. Yes.
Right, because I'm just going off the top of my head really quick, but, like, I can't remember. But I love that movie, man. The mechanical effects that are in that movie are really good. Like that Goro, like that should be Goro. Remember the first Mortal Kombat movie, Goro? This guy looks way better.
Oh yeah, and overall the movies it's just fun. It's just a silly little Empire Pictures Full Moon
it's
movie.
Playing off He-Man too a little bit. You got the blonde hot guy with the big muscles. You
got the four-armed guy. Yeah. He's like, I'm forever in your debt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are you talking about Claudia Christian?
Thank you, man.
Yes.
Thank you, producer Steve. Producer Katie. Thank you, Katie.
But I mean, that would be the last like horror or sci-fi movie. I watched a lot of bullshit action movies over the past few weeks.
There's no such thing.
Yeah. And the new Mission Impossible is pretty good, I gotta say.
Is Tom Cruise in it?
Yeah, he is.
That's okay.
He does his own stunts. He jumps off a fucking
Does
cliff.
he run?
He jumps off a he
with a fireball behind him.
He drives off a cliff with a parachute and then parachutes. I was like, it's pretty good for a 60-something-year-old man who's put his life to Xenu.
I was going to say he believes in space aliens that are as God. So
that's how you mix the two together. It is a sci-fi movie because he believes in space. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Did we just go? Anyways,
I want Tom Cruise to remake Battlefield Earth.
Oh God,
please.
Can we just not
more CGI?
Dave just looked down at the fucking.
Can we just not ever bring that movie back up?
Okay, sorry. You don't like Dutch angles?
Oh no, being at the video store and having to have everybody come back and be like, "This movie is fucking awful."
Yeah,
I didn't get one person that brought that movie back and was like, "That was great." It's like, cool. I've got 200 copies of it, and everybody thinks it's bullshit. Way to go! This is going to put us out of business.
You just tell them their thetan levels were too low.
So
enjoy it.
Quick story, and I've told this story so many times over the years, but I used to have the psychology book from the Church of Scientology because Dave and our friends, went in covert as, what do you call it, like being sponsored to the Church of Scientology here in Louisville. And back then you could kind of get away with it. You go in, you act interested, they kind of show you around, and they gave one of our friends the library of fucking books. And I'm going over to Dave's house to do probably who knows what the fuck. And he's like, hey, you want to check something out? He opens up a closet door, and the floor of the closet door is filled with these books. He's like, take one. I'm like, I want the one where they tell you what to think and feel, and it's got that whole thetan, like that little machine.
Yeah, where you hold on to little things.
If you're a Scientologist and you listen to this podcast, don't.
I see. Steve went the opposite direction of me. I went to the one where it said you can control animals. I went to the zoo. That
Real
shit
books.
did not work.
Real fucking books, real crazy shit, and holy crap. Battlefield Earth would be great as a remake, by the way. Go ahead, Ace.
My last horror movie I watched, so I decided to pick one I watched for a first time, not like a rewatch. So I watched like a actual good movie, Don't Look Now, which came out in 1973. It was a Criterion release that I picked up recently.
Oh, yeah, we just
A
talked about
film.
it.
A film.
The film.
A picture, as they call it. This is, it's got Donald Sutherland's in it and Julie Christie, who I didn't really know from a lot of stuff. Donald Sutherland, who's, from everything.
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland's dad.
Kiefer Sutherland's dad. He was in the
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers remake,
Yeah.
Animal House.
We're naming all the movies he doesn't even think about. Like, he's like, goddamn boys, I was in MASH.
Yeah.
That was an Academy Award winning movie.
Yeah. But he's just
Puppet Man.
great in everything. I don't know. He has like this thing about him, just whatever his vibe is. He's just always so entertaining to watch.
You can shit on that Salem's Lot remake TV show they made, miniseries, but he's fantastic as Straker.
Yeah.
Carry on. Sorry.
But the guy who directed it was Nicholas. I might just butcher this last name. Nicholas Roeg.
Oh, yeah.
Roeg. He did The Man Who Fell to Earth and The Witches and some other things those are the two most popular things. But this was a movie I first became aware of, which was another thing. I think I mentioned this when we did on the last thing we did, which was that stupid show that came on Bravo, which was like the 100 scariest movie moments.
yeah.
And this was one of the things one of the clips that was on there was from this movie, which him and his wife, their daughter drowns in this pond. They're, as you would feel if that happened to you. He's
Relieved.
some kind of, he's relieved. They go on vacation.
You're saying don't say the inside words, Dave.
But so they, they're traumatized. They go on this not a vacation. He's like an art.
Let's go on vacation.
He's like an art dealer, curator guy. He goes
Sabbatical.
He goes to Venice for work. So while they're in Venice, this psychic blonde woman comes up to his wife at this thing and says, I can see your daughter. She's fine, blah, blah, blah. And she's freaked out, passes out, wakes up, and then she feels relieved. But then later on, there's a lot of this going on in this movie. This is what, but later on.
Do the best you can, baby. Do the best you can.
So later on, I'm not going to spoil it because there's a huge, at the end of it, you're like, what the fuck?
He's giving a whole dissertation. I'm just like, people fight aliens. It's great.
But so he starts seeing his daughter when she drowned in this very red rain jacket. So they're going around the city and he keeps seeing this person in that exact jacket, running around. He's like, what the fuck is going on? And then even later on, his wife leaves to go take care of something. He's, going through, the blind woman says, you're going to have this terrible accident, and he almost dies. And then later on, he sees his wife, who he thinks is out of town, on a boat, in Venice, going down the river, in a funeral procession. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? The whole movie is just a total mind fuck of what's going on. I tell you, I'll usually spoil movies on here. I'm not going to spoil this because this movie's really good, and it's really good if you don't know the ending of it. But yeah, comes face to face with the person in the red rain jacket, and you're like, what is going on? This is crazy. But it's definitely, there's so much to talk about because it's one of those, it's a Criterion movie, so it's very well written.
So is Armageddon. So
Yeah.
I've
It's
said that many times.
no idea why that movie's a Criterion, but
I'll add it to the list. I want to see this now.
it's very good, very Hitchcock. I wrote down a little quote I got from it, which was, it says, by manifesting its protagonist psychology and plot developments is how it becomes a very Hitchcockian movie.
Elevated.
They take their trip to Venice. The Baxters, who are the two people in the movie, Donald Sutherland and his wife, they've run away from their personal tragedy and are often physically depicted as running to and from things during their stay in Venice. And then there's a labyrinth geography of everything around Venice is just canals, water everywhere. And the city itself is a huge character of the movie. But yeah,
That sounds
it's really
deep.
good. It's very deep, and it's most of the time I'm just yeah, big monsters and fucking they killed somebody, cannibals, blah blah blah.
Whatever so often.
Kill, boobs.
Every so often, Ace gets down with deep thoughts.
Yeah,
By
and
Jack Handy.
it's really good. And at the time, I think it was kind of it was kind of a racy movie for its time in 73 because it was like one of the first movies to like end up like a mainstream movie to depict cunnilingus in it.
Oh.
Because there's a very steamy sex scene in the movie. And I'm like, oh, this is the second time I've had to see Donald Sutherland's ass in a movie. It was this and Animal House.
Well, that's fucking great. Yeah, I have. You brought that up like last episode, and I just need to check it out.
It's really good.
Can we borrow your film?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go with Destroy All Monsters. Or no, Destroy All Monsters. This is not a Godzilla episode. Sorry. Destroy All Neighbors.
Alex Winter.
Yeah, he has a small role in the movie. So Jonah Ray from like Mystery Science Theater is William Brown, a synthetic nerd. I actually wrote that by accident. Synthetic nerd.
He's got white blood.
Yeah, no, he's a synth pop nerd and like he's into prog rock and he's insane. But everyone can see it except for him. And he thinks that his next door neighbor is just the devil. He thinks everything around him is just too loud. He's trying to write the most progressive prog rock album of all time. And his girlfriend hates him. His neighbors hate him except for one, who's funny because when I looked her up, she's the mom from Karate Kid.
Oh, nice.
I didn't recognize her, her voice. I was like, hey, holy crap. You're Mrs. Whatever, Machio, mom, whatever. What's
Miss
his name?
Machio.
Miss Machio.
No, but what's her name in the movie? Oh my God.
Danielson.
Thank you. You're Miss Danielson.
Daniel's mom.
So he goes, his girlfriend's getting ready to leave him. He's trying to write this epic fucking album and his neighbor is just loud as fuck. So he goes over there and he's going to take care of this. We're going to have a conversation. It doesn't go well. He ends up manslaughtering.
Well, just to be fair, his neighbor was like, "Come on, man, you want to punch me? Punch me, hit me. Come on, do
Oh,
it."
you have seen it. Okay.
Yeah, I have seen this one, but I saw it.
I was
a while ago.
Okay, so I've seen it twice. I watched it a month ago, and I got halfway through it, and it was okay. I wasn't crazy about it. I wasn't crazy about it, but I am now, and I went back and watched it. I was like, I really get this movie. I really enjoy this movie. I like the writing. The special effect was by Gabe Bartalos. He did Frankenhooker. He did Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. We just talked about him on the Frankenhooker episode.
Yeah.
Basket Case from Beyond. And it's funny when I first watched it, I thought, because I only seen like half of the movie, and I was like, man, the special effects are okay. They just kind of look very campy. I didn't understand the whole level of the movie because all the writers are like from King of the Hill. The one guy wrote for like The Late Late Show. So they're all comedians. And I guess maybe I just wasn't in the mood for this kind of movie at the time. So when I watched it today, as a matter of fact. It's fucking great. It's so good. Like the cinematography is very Reanimator, and that doesn't make sense because like it's all has like a small connection. But like, so this is directed by Josh Forbes. He did music videos for The Offspring, The Fray, Sarah, what's her name?
Bareilles.
Yeah, God. So everybody connected to this movie has never done horror movies, from what I could tell. And it really came off really well. The special effects are great. You don't know if this guy's insane or not, which I love that whole thing because once he goes and accidentally decapitates his neighbor on his own workout machine, the whole scene is insane. He just starts talking to him. He's like, "Hey, you decapitated me." And he just ruins his fucking kid's life. So then he accidentally manslaughters somebody else. I guess that's accidental manslaughter. Is that a thing?
Manslaughter.
Yeah.
I slaughtered a man.
The bodies just keep piling up. It's and everybody just comes back to life. The woman, his next door neighbor, the Karate Kid mom, she ends up electrocuting herself by accident, and she comes back as a rotted corpse. And they all help him write the album of the year.
According to him.
That's the most, and that's the thing. Is
We
it
don't
all
know.
in his head? Is it in his head? Is it not his head? The only thing that made me think like some of it was real and some of it wasn't is because like the producers that he walks in on are having a cocaine party at that help produce the greatest album of all time by accident, or they can see the dead bodies coming at him too, though. Remember they attack him. It's really hard to. You have to watch this movie, and I think that's great because we're all kind of saying that. Like, you go back and watch this movie. Arena is great. You have to go watch this movie. Your movie is a film, and you have to go watch this movie. This movie
very good.
is still on Shudder, I think, and
Yes.
you should go watch this movie. I was really happy with
It's a
it.
Shudder original, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be. I don't know, but yeah, Destroy All Neighbors. I was pleasantly surprised the second time around, and I think I don't know what's been going on, but like that's how it's been for the last few movies that I kind of sit down and make a point to watch. And I'm just like, this is not what I want for some reason at that moment. And then I turn it off because I have that option.
Yeah.
And then I go back and then I'll come back and watch it. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I get this movie. So I don't know. That's kind of cool though. I'm glad I can unpause something or resume.
Yeah.
Resume.
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 Well, that's cool. I appreciate your all's picks. I got one that I've seen and one that I need to see, apparently.
Well, I mean, I've been watching baking shows.
Yeah, we'll get some
Holiday baking shows.
Shut up.
we'll get some wine and cheese and watch this movie that Ace is talking about, Steve.
It's a classic.
It's a classic.
I bought two. Well, actually, I bought two movies that day, and I watched them both in the same weekend. But the other one I didn't bring up because it's not a horror movie. But I got Dr. Strangelove and watched it for the first time. And
You've never seen that movie?
No, and I watched it. And I was like, "Holy shit! This is one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life."
It's really, really
I was
good.
like, and it's even more relevant now, and it's just as relevant now as it was in the '60s. It's
and see,
insane.
we talked about that in the last episode. Like we were talking about like politics coming up in this year and the elections and everything, and like old movies being more relevant. Like They Live is never not going to be relevant.
Oh yeah.
What are we going to do, man?
You can put on the glasses.
We're going to have a 10-minute street fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best. Yeah.
Katie, what's the last movie you watched besides the one that I made you watch today?
Well, I guess mine's kind of cheating because I only got about like maybe an hour into it before I had to turn it off. But I watched The House That Jack Built.
Yeah, she didn't turn it off because we
Too
were
scared?
busy. No, y'all.
So like it's always on the
It's a Lars von Trier movie. Come on.
Oh god.
yeah, it's always on like the Reddit horror page of like, what's the most disturbing movie you've ever watched? Like The House That Jack Built is usually mentioned. So I was like, you know what? I like disturbing shit. I'll watch it. And I got through like the first two murders that this man commits, who it's played by Matt Dillon. He does a really great job being a psycho.
From what you've seen.
Yeah, from what I've seen. And that did not faze me at all. I can watch people being murdered all day, every day. But there's a flashback to when he's a child and he does something to a duckling.
Ugh.
And
Oh yeah.
It looked really. Oh, have you seen the movie?
No.
I haven't.
Yeah, you
I
probably
haven't.
haven't.
But I knew it was going to be there because I've talked to Rachel about watching it. And she's like, "Is there animal stuff?" And you go to "Does the dog die?" And it's just a big fucking no right there. Don't watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I was-
real looking, man.
it was so real looking. And I guess I wasn't prepared because it happens like super quickly. So I immediately burst into tears. And Steve was like, okay, we're done. We're not watching that anymore. I was like,
So this is like a sequel to Fulci's "Don't Torture a Duckling."
yeah, but it's like, go ahead, torture this duckling in the worst way possible.
It is. And I'll just say, like, I knew it was coming because he's like, oh, everything's so cool. And then he just pulls out a pair of scissors.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I was like, well, okay.
I might revisit it because again, I've heard it's a pretty good movie, but I will be skipping that scene.
You love to torture yourself when it comes to art, so it's okay.
So how does Jack's house get built?
Oh, duck parts. Oh,
Don't have any glue. What does duck blood use? How viscous is it?
fuck.
And, you know, I almost watched another horror film.
Yeah, let's lighten this up at the end.
Rachel started to watch this fucking found footage movie because she loves that stuff, and it was called Found Footage 3D in 2D. So it wasn't even the 3D version of it. I made it about halfway through, and I'm like, I'm going to bed. I can't do this.
I saw
Yeah.
that. It wasn't great.
Well,
I like found footage movies.
I think they're all trash. Everybody makes they all make the worst decisions.
Oh, that's just movies, man.
No, no.
This is the horror genre.
Yeah, but
Dave.
found footage is supposed to be more like it's real. It's in your face.
Oh,
you know,
God.
But
You
like
didn't see Survival of the Dead, did you?
In your face.
It's in your face.
I don't know, guys.
Yeah, no, I like found footage movies if they're just well done. But then it's well done to me, like a good steak. Well, that's not good. Well done steaks are sucky.
I like some found footage. I actually enjoy that one with the Last Exorcism. I thought that was good for a
Yeah.
PG-13 movie.
It's so good. It's got the professor from Saved by the Bell, the college years.
Jesus Christ.
Never would have known that one.
Well, thank God I'm here.
Oh, thank you for giving us your 2 cents in the movie that you almost kind of watched.
All right,
Shut up.
all right. So I'm gonna go with my question.
Oh no.
What movie haven't you watched that you really want to watch that everybody should watch?
Okay, so should that be a movie that's coming out or a movie that's already been out but I just haven't gotten around to seeing it?
Yes,
Just reverse question you, buddy.
yes. A movie that's come out that you haven't watched yet. No excuses.
Okay, I'm gonna have to edit this because I got to think for a second. Look at this bastard over there
I'm
cheating.
going to have to look at my
He's
list.
over there cheating. And I'm on the
But it's
spot.
a movie that I haven't seen.
That you want to see.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
you've been putting off for one reason or another. You're too busy, or you just don't have you haven't been in the mood to watch it. What is it, Katie?
when it's either when evil lurks or where evil lurks.
Yes, that one's on Shudder.
On Shudder, yeah.
That looks like a good one. So that's Katie's pick.
All right.
Mine's going to be Suitable Flesh because not only do I own it and I haven't watched it,
We
but
started watching that.
It's on Shudder, and now there's no excuse because Ace trashes it. And if I don't like this movie, I'm very upset.
It's I got about a quarter of the way through, and I was like, man, I wanted this to be really good because Dennis Paoli is the writer from like Stuart Gordon era. You know what I'm saying? And he knows Lovecraft. He knows how to write a good Lovecraft movie, at least ones I like. So, From Beyond, I mean, he did all those movies with Stuart Gordon and even Dagon. And I just thought that like it could have been better. But then I'm also at that point now where I'm angry with people making stupid decisions. And Heather Graham makes some of the worst decisions that you could make as a doctor or as just a person or a woman.
Right.
And I'm like,
well, don't ruin it and stop stalling.
See,
this is why you haven't watched the movie you're trying to think of.
Action Jackson, Dave. No, let's see.
Great movie.
One of the movies that we talked about a couple episodes ago that I want to see that Ace brought up is Dark Harvest.
Oh yeah, that's on my list now.
Yeah,
that's
see,
good.
and that comes off your recommendation, and your tastes are pretty shitty like mine. So
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm down and doing some research for the episode that I edited that we did when you talked about that. I guess it was like we did the 31 Nights of Halloween episode.
It was around that time. Yeah,
Yeah, and we
I
talked
read the
about
book.
and then you talked about the book, and it just sounds cool. I like it seems like I like all the names that I've seen involved. It looks cool. I like that you were making fun of the Crimson Ghost mask. They wouldn't have been around in the 60s for kids to wear.
Everybody in the 60s where they were like so hip that they knew about a cereal from the 40s that they watched all the time and made masks out of it.
You possibly could not watch it all in the 60s on any time. You're not going to the movies to watch a serial before like watching whatever, Once Upon a Time in America or whatever. I guess that's the 70s, but whatever.
It's cool.
No, but Dark Harvest. I want to get around to seeing that movie. That's on my list to see.
That's a good.
I started a Letterboxd on listening to your recommendation again, and so I'm trying to keep track. It's a nightmare using Letterboxd to do it so I just started making fun of the movies that I like.
Yeah, I enjoy the Letterboxd, and somebody I follow. I don't know this person. There's very few people I follow that I don't know through some way. This one person, they trashed Black Roses on there, and I was like, what do you want, dude? Like, what else do you want in a movie? Like, it's not, it's not like trying to like do anything. It's just, it's
got
fun.
Everything. It's got 80s hair, 80s music,
Yeah.
80s boobs.
And I was like, we give it 2 stars. Like, just, anyway, well, besides that,
real fun at parties.
yeah, real good times.
All right, Ace.
Mine, I'm actually thinking about it now. I need to watch that Poor Things,
Oh yeah, that looks good too.
which is basically from what I've heard is kind of Frankenstein, Frankenhooker kind of thing. Even though it's like an A24 art.
I think it's less Frankenhooker and more Frankenstein.
Yeah, but I've heard from like numerous people whose opinions on movies that I trust that just aren't like, everything I watch is amazing. Have you seen this movie? But
You're such a snob about snobs. You're like the anti-snob.
yeah. But I've heard a lot of good stuff about it, and I've heard that what's her name in it?
Emma
Emma Stone. Yeah.
Emma Stone is like really good in it. I think she's a good actress. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good. I've never heard anybody say one bad word about that movie.
That's good.
So it's kind of on my list of things to watch. But yeah, so I'm going to try to get around to finding that and watching it.
All right, so we've got movies that we need to watch. So we will get to those. But people listening and watching, what should we watch? Is there another movie that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, put that in the comments section or comment on the Facebook page. How do you find the Facebook page, Dave? Ace? Dace.
You go to Facebook.
That's you all.
You go to Facebook and look at Gore Club Podcast.
.com / Gore Club Podcast.
You get technical with it's HTTPS.
Semicolon /
Oh my God. Well, thank you guys. This is what a way to end a fucking episode.
All right. Well, yeah. And if you want to listen to us, you can listen to us right where you're listening to us now.
Turn up my microphone.
From several countries. Poland is there. Sweden. All these people. Thank you for listening to us. You can
the
find
U.S.
us on
Virgin Islands now.
Yeah. Virgin Islands.
Puerto Rico.
You can find us on Anchor FM Breaker, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Verbal.com, YouTube, Facebook.
That's right.
Places. The internet. It's a wonderful thing.
Open up your computer and turn it on.
Yes. All right. Well, that's it. We're getting out of here.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Or morning or evening or whatever. Have a good brunch.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Bye.
Gore Club Podcast. This is the Gore Club Podcast with Steve Vessell, Ace, and Deathmetal Dave.